we'll make a start, everybody. So today's webinar is going to be an interesting one. I'm really excited to actually do this one today. Not that I'm not normally, but this is today's topic is a little bit different, something a little bit unusual and unfamiliar to a lot of our regular attendees. There are attendees that are not familiar with Vieunite Pro. At the same time, there are going to be some attendees that have never heard of AllSee. So just to give a little bit of background there, and a little bit of wider context. So AllSee Technologies were established 17 years ago. Experts in commercial displays and digital signage solutions. We provide a huge range of solutions backed by exceptional support and service. Just a few years ago, we established a spin-out company called Vieunite. We've managed to achieve some great results here, including some really good consumer brand establishment. And then June just gone, we actually launched Vieunite Pro, which is obviously what we're going to be covering today. Hopefully that kind of clears up, hopefully those details will make a lot of the topics of today's webinar make more sense for some of the attendees. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to quickly go over who's going to be covering what, who's going to be talking today. So in just a minute, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, our Managing Director, Baoli Zhao. He will give a little bit more context and background, probably in a lot more insightful way than I just did, and probably a lot more engaging than I can. And then our Cultural Director, Benedict Carpenter van Barthold, will cover some really interesting points, actually, and some areas of art side of things that will help to highlight some of the true value behind the Vieunite Pro platform. And then finally, our colleague Joshua will wrap up with by outlining some of the commercial aspects. We will open things up at the end for a Q&A session, but please feel free as we're going along to use the chat box or raise your hand, and you can be unmuted if it's something that it's not, we can kind of keep things fairly informal, fairly casual. So if we're talking about a specific topic and you've got a question about that topic, feel free to raise your hand. Like I say, we can unmute you and you can just interrupt. So without any further ado, as I say, I'll hand over to my colleague Baoli, who will get things started.
Brilliant. Good afternoon, everyone, and really glad to see all. Haven't been see everyone for a while, and thanks, Tom. Let me to talk about the reason why I start Vieunite and what we're doing in here. So first of all, let me to bring you back to the year we started AllSee Technologies. That was 2007. On that year, basically the LCD technologies just becoming affordable, and probably you remember that the reason why we started AllSee is we want to create a new way, a new advertising channel for the small business. On that time, just remember everyone, for the small business, they only have the newspapers, local newspapers, magazines, radio station to advertising. On that time, really, there's no other channels. On that time, there's even no Google Ads. Google Ads just started to become popular. There's no social media. So we thought about, let us create one new digital communication for the SMEs. So 2007, as I said, when LCD panel become affordable, so we created AllSee Technologies, and the products I don't need to mention, so you know them very well. So between 2007 to 2012, when we launched this product, we spent really a lot of time to tell the retailers, tell the brands why you should use digital signage. It's why your investment can get back. How do you differentiate your brand? We did a hell of a lot of work on that period of time, that first 5 years. You can also imagine that the business really didn't make any money during that period of time. So we basically try to educate the market and then start moving on. Basically from 2013 to 2018, that period of time, that really it's a lot of like this. I would say the big brands, they realize value of the digital signage. So they want to put a digital display inside their retail shops or their offices to show their product and services. But that period of time, just like these big brands, because they care about their brand so much, they want to use a new digital marketing method. So on that time, our business also really become like not say very profitable and become like stable business. We think, okay, this is right. The people love the digital signage, definitely can see the value. And then start really moving forward. It's really just before COVID, 2019. So in last 5 years, it's basically until now. So now if you go to any high street, you see all the new open, the shops, the hotels, the restaurants, takeaways, they all have these digital signage solutions now. So finally, we don't need to educate the market. So the brands, just if they open the new business, they just come to us to ask to use signage. I would say now we are in the very luckily, all of us, all the partners, including yourself, it's in a very good stage. We can just sell it. So now, as I said, you go to everywhere, you see these digital displays. So what's the future? So how do we still use these displays to attract the visitors, to get their attention, to communicate? That's become the problem. So you can imagine that. So probably you got similar experience as well. Now, if you go to any retail shops, you see the digital signage on there, probably because you already work in this industry, you know that's the advertising. So you probably ignore that. And I think that in the future, give another 5 years or 7 years time, the people will start to have a similar feeling as you. Basically says, okay, I know this is ads. I don't want to spend my time on that. So we really do need concern now about the future, what we can do, how do we continue engage that. So finally, we come with this solution, which is the Vieunite. That's the reason behind that. So we are thinking about 5 years later. So in here, the keyword, if we think about the advertising, the key is about novelty. So you have created something really new to attract people, attract people to see your ads. That's the key. It has to be novel. And then you after attract them, and then you have to communicate with them, get message across to them. So that's all about the key. So if we understand this is the basic fundamental concept about advertising, and then we can find the solution. So what's the Vieunite solution? Vieunite solutions, later I will show you one video, just very quickly. Tom, if you don't mind, you help us to show this video for me. Yeah, brilliant. So this is the Vieunite. I let them play a little bit. You will see what's on there. So you see that in here for you, this is really, it's real piece of wood frame. So we make Vieunite digital art canvas like real classic piece of paint in your shops. So you see that we have the this color a little bit different. This is walnut color. So we develop 4 different colors: walnut, birch, and also the black color. And then you see the paint on there. Probably this is a part of paint you see on the screen. So you can see the layers. You can see the brush stroke, and also the screen. Another bit about that is no reflection at all. It's really like, if I don't tell you, you just first time you see that, you will think that is a real piece of art. So it's really beautiful made. I have to say, in the also past 17 years, we developed so many, over 100 different products, but this is the products I'm really proud of. It's all the detail we considered. And also, even we include this magnet mounting bracket. So after you mount that on the wall, you couldn't see any gap between the frame with the wall. This is really, I just want to say, I'm so happy about this result. So this is the technology, this is the hardware. Obviously, it's we are not only try to say, okay, this is the technology, this is the products, we resolve everything. This is also about the content, about the art. So how do we use the art to re-engage with our customer, to help the brand? That's part I will hand over to my colleague Ben. Ben is our culture director. He will explain to everybody how do we engage with the art. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Baoli. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ben, and I'm thrilled to be here to talk about something that I'm passionate about, which is the power of art. So in this presentation, I'm going to explore how the magnetic allure of art can be harnessed through Vieunite Pro to give your clients an unrivaled tool for forging visual connections. But I think I should start with a bit of background, because many of you will have never met me before. So who am I? I'm an artist and an academic. I trained at Chelsea and the Royal College of Art, practiced art. I was a public sculptor. I've got a number of lumps of large shaped metal in different places around the world. And from the late 90s until a couple of years ago, I worked in higher education, teaching aspiring artists in various positions of leadership. I now lead a team of 5, which includes me at Vieunite, 2 senior curators, one called Jane, who has got long experience with Sotheby's and is an expert in the English Renaissance, and another senior curator called Alwyn, who's a contemporary artist. And we've all spent decades with art because we're passionate about it. We're all art lovers. So let's start by thinking about the magnetic attraction of art. Art's unique. It's got a unique ability to capture attention through its visual authenticity. What I mean by this is that art connects with the artist, even across centuries. I'm sure you've all had the experience of going to an art gallery and seeing a painting by somebody who may have died hundreds of years ago, but you still feel like you're in the presence of that individual. And this idea is embedded in our language when we talk about, did you see that Botticelli painting, or did you see that Raphael? That Raphael, you use the name is synonymous with the artifact. The art object is like a portal to somebody else's unique vision and unique experience. And so when we look at art, we're connected with a different way of seeing the world. This mode of attention is qualitatively different from the attention that we direct towards other things in our life, the things that we merely need to navigate. It's, even if the content is quite heavy, even if the content is quite serious, it's still a playful mindset. It promotes a kind of sense of trying something out, a sense of being outside of ourselves. What I mean is that if you're engaged in looking at art or reading or watching a film, you are experimenting with a different worldview, with a different mindset, with an alternative reality. You're outside of yourself in a way. And this is a very open and powerfully attentive mindset. Now, our Textura screen is optimized to capture that feeling of texture. And this is a really important part of what we're offering, because touch, unlike sight, is the primary sense. When we are born, the sense that we begin to navigate the world with, the sense that a baby uses to find out where it is and where its mother is touch. And as we get older, that sense of touch combines with a sense of vision, so that when we look at things, we have what's called a haptic sense, which is a kind of sight that can feel. That's the kind of attentive sight that we use when we're in an art gallery. So what we're able to do is, through the Textura, is leverage that feeling of connection for maximum emotional appeal. The Textura technology, coupled with the Vieunite Art Library, creates a captivating gallery experience. And it's completely unlike sorts of digital screens that I've seen in galleries in the past. I've been in art schools, for instance, Nottingham Trent University, where we put on an exhibition which used Textura screens, and the image would change. And I heard students saying, "Oh, did you see that? It just changed." They thought that they were looking at a print or a painting, because they were looking at it with that degree of attention and openness. So picture it. You've got an audience who are looking at a screen. They're emotionally open and receptive. And you can put anything you like in front of them and change it. And you're really playing with and using that kind of open, playful, receptive mindset. This is a mindset within which behaviors change. Let's move on to the next slide, please, Thomas. As Baoli's described, Vieunite started with a simple idea. We wanted to bring the joy of art into people's homes. And we began there because the consumer market would really drive us to refine our offering and to focus on quality in the context of intimate domestic spaces and the strong feeling of connection that people have with the objects in their home. But Vieunite Pro expands beyond homes. It brings the benefits of art and engagement to business spaces. Because businesses, just like homes, need spaces that inspire, that energize, that connect, spaces that feel meaningful. And that's where Vieunite Pro comes in. Whether it's a bustling office lobby, a chic hotel reception, or a cozy cafe, Vieunite Pro can transform any space into a captivating gallery. Now, art enhances business spaces. We've all been to or seen the lobbies of big banks with incredible paintings on the walls. I'm not, just talking about the way in which art can create a positive first impression or enhance brand identity or increase perceived value. These are all things that we know. A screen can do that. Our screen can do that. A painting can do that. But I wanted to look at something much deeper than that, some deeper applications, because it's not really just about making your space look good. Art has a profound impact on how people feel and how they interact. Studies have shown that art in the workplace can boost creativity, it reduces stress, and it improves productivity. And this stimulates creativity and innovation. Art in an office context will lead to more productive employees. It fosters a sense of community and belonging, and it offers a nurturing environment for employees. Could we have the next slide, please, Thomas? So how do we put together our library? We do that through community. We've got a community of artists and galleries that we partner with. Through our screens, our texture-accurate screens, which create that sense of authenticity, we enable viewers to feel present with the artists and the galleries that we partner with. And there are other ancillary benefits. Vieunite's technology and curated playlists offer dynamic and engaging displays, tailored experiences. I'll say a little bit more about that in a moment. And of course, ease of use and flexibility. But some of you might be on this call and feeling a little bit like you've got misgivings about the way in which art is being used in this way. Is it really appropriate? Should art belong in a special part of our lives, away from commerce and industry? Well, that's quite a persistent idea. A lot of people believe that art belongs in a sphere above commerce, but I'm afraid this is a misconception. The idea that art should have nothing to do with day-to-day business is false. It's got a long history, for sure, and a history that was boosted in the early 20th century by Marxist philosophers like Theodor Adorno, and the belief is strangely persistent. As I've said, I worked for a long time in art schools, and you come across that belief there, that art belongs outside of business. But in art schools, I met and taught large numbers of aspiring artists. And what they need is the belief that they're going to be able to make a living through their creativity. The idea that art should be separate from business is actually, it's a luxury belief. It's a belief that most artists can't afford. The truth is that most artists stop being artists because there isn't any income coming from their work. And we're really pleased that we're able to do something for the artistic community by giving them a stable passive income by letting their work be used in this way. Artists are driven by creative pursuits. They're not necessarily driven by commercial goals. And what this means is that they make massive investments of time in refining their vision and skills and their authenticity. And this authenticity, because of the different mode of attention that it opens up, can be leveraged in the competition for attention in advertising and marketing, what Baoli spoke about earlier, that sense of novelty, of newness. And at the same time, it benefits artists. It enables them to carry on investing their time in their passion and in their creativity. And if we don't work with them in this way, then they'll simply find something else to do, because most people have to. Is there anything new about this principle? Not really. Advertising's got a long history of utilising art to captivate audiences. What Vieunite offers is a new way of doing this. I want to go a bit deeper into that point and show you what I mean. I've said a few times already that art's got this ability to transcend the ordinary and create emotional connections with viewers. That art pulls the viewer out of themselves and offers an authentic connection with a different way of seeing the world. And for this reason, art is your perfect partner in the competition for authenticity and attention in advertising and marketing. But let's think about art in a sort of looser sense, not just talking about paintings on a gallery wall. I'm talking about art as a spirit of creativity. I'm sure that there are a few adverts that you remember, things that stick in your mind. When we were talking about this presentation, there were a few that occurred to us. I know that Sony's Bravia Balls advert is significant for Baoli. For other colleagues, it might be the Macintosh 1984 advert, this famous Super Bowl advert that was made. For me, it was Guinness's Neptune's Horses. And I want to show you what I mean by that partnership between messaging and art. And I think we've got a clip of that video now. For those of you who were watching television in the 1990s, you'll remember that this had an incredible soundtrack provided by Left Field, thundering in the background. I was too young to drink at the time, and I'm not, you know, but all the same, it's still stuck in my mind. And what we've got with this advert, which was actually directed by Jonathan Glazer, who recently won an Oscar for his last feature film, is this, you know, real? So you can see there that he's quoting the painting by Walter Crane, which we've got in the background. That painting is from, I think, 1896. He was a pre-Raphaelite painter. And you've got editorial techniques there, which are familiar from French New Wave cinema. So there's lots of things that are being referenced and drawn together. He's using, Jonathan Glazer is a great artist himself, but he's using that reference to Neptune's Horses, which is itself a familiar cultural artifact. He's using a form of video editing, which comes from French New Wave, French art house cinema, and he's using it to put together a message. And if we go on to the next slide, we've got something that might jog your memory about the other adverts I mentioned. So at the top, there's the Guinness Neptune's Horses source. Below that, the famous 1984 advert for Macintosh computers, which references Fritz Lang, the great German film director, as well as George Orwell's dystopian novel. And then the visual spectacle of the Sony Bravia bouncing balls ad. What all of these adverts do, as you watch them, it's not until the very end, it's the last slice where you actually get the marketing message. Up until that point, what you've got prepares the way for that marketing message to be delivered. It's a form of spectacle that grabs the attention of the television viewer and opens them up. You can't do that with a direct appeal. If you go in straight away and say, you know, drink Guinness, it's a great stout, you're probably not going to, you know, boost the bottom line of that brewery. You need to, at the very least, cluster something around it. And it's not just aspirational, it's about developing a mindset that's got people's attention. This isn't a new phenomenon. Art and advertising go way back. Toulouse-Lautrec will be a familiar name for many of you. The poster on the left is Alphonse Mucha. And then you've got some personal favorites of mine. I was a sculptor, and I'm interested in sculptural history. So these are examples by an artist called Alexandre Charpentier. There's an advert which is now in the Metropolitan Museum for a stoneware manufacturer, which is the figure of the craftsman holding a statue of Nike. And then the medal, the two sides of the medal, advertising a different service. Artists have always worked with companies in order to help deliver their message. It's actually only in recent years that the kind of squeamishness that I referred to has come to the fore. Now, as you've probably realized, I'm passionate about promoting opportunity for visual artists because that's my background, it's my heritage. And Vieunite makes a strong commitment to artists. We provide artists with new revenue opportunities, and these benefit both culture and society. More broadly, as well as making artists' work available through the portal for businesses to use, we help artists to tell their stories through video, social media, curated playlists. And the other side of the deal, of course, is that brands and industries get to access that content to deliver subtle yet powerful messages. It's difficult to know what work we should put in a library because as we are putting it together, it's very difficult for us to second guess all of the need that there's going to be, but it's also very hard to predict what the future holds for creativity. And if you look at the history of art, there's one thing that stands out, which is art always surprises. So even if you're an expert, you can't necessarily tell what's going to work next year or the year after. And in order to enable ongoing innovation, we've created a unique fund called the Creative Commitment Fund, which gives all of the artists who've got more than 5 artworks in our library a recurrent passive income, regardless of whether their work is actually used by a business or a consumer. And this gives back to the creative community, and it enables them to carry on making the investment of time in honing their skills and authenticity that I referenced earlier. It's not just artists that we work with. We also work with galleries. On the screen, you can see many of logos of august institutions with which we've partnered. And similarly, that enables us to work with them to help tell their story. Many of these institutions are charities, and they will have a mission to share work and to reach new audiences. And not everybody goes to museums, not everybody goes to art galleries, but by getting work out into the public realm, into commerce, into offices, we are helping our partners to reach audiences that otherwise would not see or experience the amazing treasures that are in these incredible museums. They're not just UK, they're also international. We've got a Norwegian partner on the board there, Rijksmuseum, which is in Amsterdam. I just want to pick out a couple of these partnerships. So the National Galleries of Scotland was a significant moment, I think, for Vieunite when we partnered with them. That was our first big partnership. They've got incredible treasures from the Renaissance to the present day. And the historic collection of modern Italian art is worth picking out as well. It's a really beautiful gem of a museum in North London that's got an internationally significant collection of futurist artworks. Receives no state funding at all, so they are reliant on charitable donations and also on licensing revenue. And finally, I think I'll go to Brighton and Hove Museums. They have the Royal Pavilion Museum Trust, which is the Royal Brighton Pavilion that many of you will have seen if you've been to Brighton. It's the incredible Regency / Orientalist building that looks a bit like an incredible ice cream that sort of dominates that part of Brighton. Incredibly beautiful, and it's got wonderful surface decoration and repeat pattern in there. Across all of these partners, we've got all sorts of content, all sorts of images, all sorts of art from the Renaissance period, in fact, even earlier than that, the medieval period, right up to the present day. So how do we curate all of this? How do we put it together? How do we make sense of it and make it accessible to you? And that is, of course, down to our wonderful curators. So as I mentioned at the beginning, it's not just me. There's 5 people in this department, 2 senior curators besides myself. And we work to bridge the gap between art and business and create meaningful experiences that resonate. So, you know, if you're thinking, well, all of this sounds great, but I don't know anything about art. I don't know how to choose the right pieces for my business or for my clients. Or perhaps, you know, you're wondering how your clients would feel or respond to this proposition. Please offer them the reassurance that there are curators behind this and we are waiting to work with them. We've got a diverse team of art historians, practicing artists and cultural experts with decades of combined experience, and we meticulously select artwork ensuring quality and relevance. We've created a lot of playlists, creating narratives that evoke emotions and spark conversations. We've got deep understanding of art history and contemporary trends, enabling our clients to connect with businesses and to find the most suitable artwork. And for premium subscribers, we offer personalized consultations, so we will tailor content to specific needs and goals. For artists, of course, our curators help to add value to their work, give them increased exposure. We help artists to tell their stories and find new revenue opportunities for them. So that, I hope, gives you a flavour of what we're trying to do with our curatorial content here at Vieunite. In conclusion, I want to leave you with a thought. So art's not just a decoration. It's an investment. It's an investment in brand. It's an investment in employees. It's an investment in the overall experience that's created for customers. And with Vieunite Pro, you can tap into the transformative power of art and elevate businesses to new heights. Thank you very much for your time. And I imagine that you now want to know how it works in detail. And with that in mind, I'm delighted to hand over to my colleague, Josh.
Thank you so much, Ben. I really appreciate it. And I'm fully aware right now that I'm the last one standing between you guys and lunchtime. So I'm going to make this very short and succinct. I really agree with Ben just now. I also agree with Baoli. You know, this is about an investment in brand. This is about an investment in employees. And this is about using transformative art to create elevated business experiences for your clients. So what am I referring to when I talk about Vieunite Pro? Vieunite Pro consists of 3 main elements and in an amazing, downright simple all-in-one solution. So we have behind me here a Textura Pro Digital Canvas. This is the top of the class, perhaps one of the few in the United Kingdom that features 100% texture accurate, diffuse digital canvas. As you can see in the video right now, thank you so much, Bacon. It comes along with 4 different color frames. So there's going to be white, black, walnut, as well as pine. So the second thing that I want to talk about, which is actually kind of related and combined with what Ben has said just now. There is a dashboard, which we call the Vieunite Pro CMS portal. So CMS stands for Content Management System for those who are not in this field. So we have one of the world's most user-friendly web-based content management system platform that helps you to create a comprehensive view of all your different Textura Pro digital canvases in one simple-to-use dashboard on the web portal itself. And the third component, of course, was what Ben said just now. We have a 5-man expert team that expertly curates around 100 playlists out of a collection of more than 12,000 pieces in our art collection. So this includes rare masterpieces from world-class institutions, like what Ben has said, the National Gallery Scotland, National Gallery of Art, Washington, D.C., Art Institute of Chicago, as well as top art and design institutions, such as centers and martins. So you can be assured that all your curated playlists, they are segmented into different industry sectors. You can divide it into different color schemes as well as moods. And the second point I want to bring out was the fact that, you also have regularly updated and refreshed content. So that's my promise to you, and that's Ben's promise to you as well. Next slide, please, Bacon. So what is it for me, you will ask? I see lots of familiar names just now. I saw James Hogg, I see Sam as well. And I just want to say that I will provide you with training sessions, business development partnership, as well as project support. I also have a team of very dedicated technical support specialists. So they will provide same-day support via phone, email, and WhatsApp. And one thing I want to assure you is we offer this 3-year commercial warranty with advanced replacement. Say, for example, if one of your Textura Pro Digital Canvases has problems, no worries, no question asked. I will just advance replace one for you. And it comes with a lifetime technical support from my team of dedicated technical support managers and specialists. And on my side, I do have Bacon as well, who's helping me with the marketing. So we have access to all the different marketing materials, images, videos, and commercials, video clips, and other kinds of support to help you with your website as well as your social media content. And logistics, you will be pleased to know that we have already in stock in our headquarters in Birmingham, and we can provide same-day dispatch using world-class, top-of-the-class courier services. So these are all backed by all these quality and standards you have always come to expect. So I expect you don't expect anything less, and this is what we will provide you. And next slide, please. I thought this is a wonderful time to maybe gather some testimonials because, I can say all the good things. This is downright amazing. This is downright elegant, but nothing speaks better than our partners right now. So perhaps you guys will be aware of InterDigital. This is a US-based, one of the top telecommunications, media, and technology company. So it's called InterDigital, and they have a London headquarters, and they were actually very, very happy with our products, the Vieunite Pro. So to quote Cynthia Samararo, one of the Vieunite Pro users from InterDigital, we are very pro-business and very pro-boosting employee morale in this organization. So this is definitely a good tool to propagate that feel-good feeling. And she also said that I've received the best technical support throughout the whole process from start to finish. So I want to thank my technical team as well as my marketing team for doing all this. And let's move on to the next testimonial, shall we? And the next testimonial also comes from one of our resellers. Their clients just stand in awe. I think Bacon can attest to that, right, Bacon? Every time when any resellers come to our showroom, the first thing that stops in India food is basically our Textura Pro.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been involved in a few meetings where we're trying to talk about all C products and nobody's really paying attention because everyone's just looking at the Textura in the corner. And so therefore we've had to restructure the way we deliver meetings. We have to start with Textura because otherwise everything just gets derailed. So just anecdotally, that I will say that, and I think anyone on the call who has witnessed it in person will also attest to that. I know there's a couple of people on the call who have been to our showroom and seen it in person and have been blown away. And to Ben's point earlier, Baoli and I have been to several shows and exhibitions and so forth where the content's changed and someone really is genuinely double taking, like, hang on, is that a screen? Is that, hang on, like they really can't believe their eyes and they have to physically touch the screen to convince their brain this is not a painting, this is not a genuine analog piece of artwork.
Right. Yeah. I just want to reiterate what Bacon has said. It's so realistic that people practically want to touch the screen. They want to touch the impasto. They want to touch the watercolor strokes beneath the cold press canvas. So this is how realistic everything is. But of course, this is only 1/3 of our value proposition. It also comes with our CMS portal, as well as the expertly curated art content, like what Ben and Baoli has said earlier. So I want to bring in another testimonial from one of our distinguished partners, Media Group's Dean Brittle. So he said that this was a fantastic product with so many use cases, and he can see hospitality being a considerable value proposition. And in 3 phrases, he captures it all. He loves it, he loves it, he loves it. So to tie everything together, I would like to just bring your attention to the price breakdown, shall we? So these are some of the features. So it's a multi-tiered 3-menu option. So you have the standard plans that will allow you control and publishing of our Textura over up to 2 Textura devices, and the advanced, which allows you unlimited display on unlimited number of Textura Pro digital canvases, and premium as well. Ben just brought a very good point. I want to accentuate the fact that the premium is really premium in the true sense of the word. So what I mean by that, we provide you with bespoke services, right down to actually getting, Dr. Benedict to carefully curate everything for you, bespoke playlist according to your preferences and according to your end customers' needs and wants. So this is £99 per year per device for advanced. For premium, it's only £189 per year per device for your end customers. And to put things in perspective, I've actually calculated for the end customers. So it's actually just around £8 per month per device for your end customers, and £16 per device per month for your premium users. So let me go to the last slide. To tie in everything together, here in Vieunite, we are obsessed with design, and design thinking is behind everything we do. Design thinking is behind every product that we have created. So this is the same for Aussie. This remains the same for Vieunite. So if you want to request any marketing materials, perhaps arrange an online meeting like this one, or an in-person meeting where you swim by my office and my showroom in Birmingham, or perhaps you just want to request a demo unit, feel free to just email me or WhatsApp me. Okay, you can WhatsApp me, you can call me by my mobile phone number. So this is available on the slides and available in the recordings. I want to bring your attention to also my dedicated team of technical support managers. So their email is over there and their phone numbers are there as well. And to bring me to the last slide before I hand it over to Bacon, I just want to perhaps also, I'm copacetic to also bring in the words of William Shakespeare in Julius Caesar. There is a tide in the affairs of men, taken at the flood, leads on to great fortune. So I want to partner with you. Ben and Baoli wants to partner with you to bring about this greater fortune. So let's ride on this wave of innovation. Let's set the standard of indoor business communications, and let's create great fortune together. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Josh and Ben and Baoli. I really appreciate everyone's input, and I think everyone kind of delivered their part as well as I could have hoped for anyway. So I want to open things up to questions and answers. Nobody's really asked any questions in the chat as we've been going, but I know a lot of it has been a lot of details. It's been quite captivating, but if anybody wants to use the chat at this point, feel free. If anyone wants to verbally ask a question, please raise your hand. I can unmute you. That's not a problem. But yeah, now's the time for any questions and answers that you might have. While we're waiting on that, just one other thing. I mean, again, I know that there was a lot of ground covered on today's webinar, a lot of details, a lot of new area for a lot of attendees. I think I'd like to just try and summarize what I believe is the kind of biggest value of Vieunite Pro. So obviously a lot has been said about the Textura Digital Canvas and its texture accuracy and believability, if you like. So I suppose the concept for me that doesn't already exist is the ability to obviously capture a viewer's attention with a piece of artwork that they believe is the real thing, and then convert that attention using that stimulating artwork that's captured the attention, convert that to deliver other messaging to a more captive and inspired audience. And that other messaging can be promotional content. Obviously, if the canvas is installed in a business such as a hotel or a cafe or even a retail space, Or on the other hand, if it's installed in a corporate space such as office buildings and so forth, then that attention can be converted to deliver other messaging such as internal communication, which has been a huge challenge for businesses of all sizes, really, to really have an effective internal communications channel. So again, hopefully that summarizes what I believe to be the biggest value of Vieunite Pro, as well as everything else that was discussed today. And hopefully, today's session has kind of shed a lot of light on the platform for people. And, anyone who maybe before this was thinking, oh, okay, it's just a digital canvas. Well, obviously it is a digital canvas at the start of things, but it's a lot more than that. So someone in the chat has asked a question. So Dragos, could the 3-tier of CMS be explained better? So that's no problem, Dragos. What I'll do, I can switch back over to the pricing and just ask Josh to just kind of break that down a little bit further, because obviously that's going to be crucial for all of our partners to understand.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dragos. Yeah, I thought this would be an opportune time for me to just explain in clearer details. So if you look down the framework, so we have a 3-tier subscription plans. So basically what this works is you have this hardware. So you can think of this like a razor and blade model. So you have the razor over there here, you need the art content, you need the substance, you need the CMS portal to refresh it, to upload your own business media into this digital canvas. So that's the blade. So the blade itself comes with 3 tiers. So it's a subscription plan, or what we call in the industry as a CMS portal subscription plan. So it comes with standard, which is free for you as a reseller or partner, or free for you as a end customer. We also have paid plans, which comes with more advanced features. So you have the advanced plan and the premium plan. So let me just slowly go through each and every row. So for the standard plans, you can display your contents on up to 2 Textura Pro devices. But for the paid plans, there's no limit to it. So in other words, say, for example, you have 1,000 digital canvases across hotels all around the United Kingdom. You can just operate it through a web app. And this web app, which is what I said just now, the Vieunite Pro CMS portal, allows you to just control all the 1,000 digital canvases with a very simple user-friendly dashboard on the web. So you would have cloud storage as well. So the cloud storage for standard will be up to 500 megabytes. For small and medium enterprises, it's actually quite enough. You can store hundreds of full HD photos. For advanced and premium, you have 4 gigabytes, and for premium, you have unlimited cloud storage. So without going too much into details, because I can always do it through in-person discussion as well as online Google meeting, where I'll explain all the technical aspects of both the hardware as well as the subscription plans. But let me just run down what is the other things that we have. Yes, I saw another question from Kevin, but just allow me to finish Drago's question first. So you have access to all the open license artworks for standard, advanced, and premium. The good thing about paid plans is that you also have access to all the non-Creative Commons or non-open license, as well as the rare masterpieces from world-leading museums, as well as leading and emerging artists. And you have access to premium playlists if you are on the premium plan. And perhaps the next thing I want to talk about will be the fact that you have content management services provided by our curation team if you were in the premium plan as well, and you have bespoke playlists as well. We are still stand by our market promise. We have dedicated technical support for all the 3 tiers, and you have a dedicated commercial support, which is led by my team for the paid plans as well. Yeah, so I hope this answers Drago's question. I'll move over next to Kevin's question. Bacon, could you do me a favor? Could you let me know? So Kevin has a question. James has a question as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I can answer James's question if you like. If you want to just answer Kevin's, Josh, I'll cover James's.
Okay, sure. Kevin's question is, let me see. I couldn't see Kevin's question.
Are there some artworks in the standard version of the CMS?
Oh, absolutely. So as I said just now, I think Dan will be very well positioned to answer this question. But let me just start off, and then I can pass whatever airtime over to Ben and Baoli. So for the standard plans, you definitely have artworks. The artworks are a Creative Commons license artworks, or what we call open license artworks. Ben, anything to add for the standard plans?
No, you're quite right. In the standard plan, you have access to a suite of work which we have in the library, which is marvelous. It's got some wonderful masterpieces in it, but that work is work which we've obtained under a Creative Commons 0 license. In other words, it's work which is in the public domain. So we've added value to that by curating it. We've also, sized it. We've added other data around it, which makes it discoverable. So it's not like we just pick it up and do nothing with that. But this work, which is in the free, which is in the sort of free plan, is work which is in the public domain. In order to get work which isn't in the public domain, then that has to be under subscription tiers, because we are having to pass a share of revenue back to the creator or copyright holder of that image. And typically that would be a museum that we've partnered with, who have allowed us to use the photographic rights in order to take that work into the library, because there is a distinction between the copyright of an artwork and the photographic rights that a museum might hold over the artwork. And different museums have got very different policies around it. The detail's quite technical, but the core principles are very straightforward. If an institution has put something in the public domain, we'll curate from that for the standard subscription. But if it's not in the public domain, then that artwork is something that you're going to have to pay for, either through a subscription or, if you're on a free plan, by buying individual licenses. And there's a question there about the price range of the artwork. And the artists that we work with would, the living artists can pick their own price. They've got the liberty to do that. We advise them on it, of course, so that it's not extraordinarily high. But typically, yeah, it's the cost is comparable to renting a video on Amazon or something, or similar to that, adding it to your Amazon library. How the pricing works in relation to the different paid tiers is probably more Josh's department than mine.
Okay, yep. So I'll just cover James's question, if that's okay, guys. So James, again, another great question there about who is the target market. So more broadly speaking, any one of your existing clients or any potential new clients, any business. However, if you're kind of asking who potentially you should target first, we've identified the two biggest potential areas here as hospitality. So even like restaurants, cafes, hotels, even spas, places like that, mainly for the delivering of promotional messages as well as the blending of artwork. Aside from that, corporate spaces, as I mentioned earlier, having an effective internal communications tool. We've got a few examples which we didn't mention today and didn't go into detail with, of businesses using Textura to display internal communication, and even kind of like KPI dashboards mixed in with artwork, believe it or not. And it's very kind of effective and very, much more engaging. It sends a very strong message to staff that the company want to invest in you. And we're not just trying to make the place look pretty. We want you to feel better. We want you to feel valued. So to answer the question, James, like I say, hospitality and corporate in the first instance, but in theory, any business can be enhanced with Vieunite Pro.
Can I just jump on to the end of that point, Thomas?
Yeah, go for it, Ben.
So I think something that, because you mentioned the way in which an artwork could have messages presented on it. That's absolutely right. So we can work with playlists where you don't have, it's not like dropping a slide into something that's then going to jump out and feel incongruous. For our premium subscribers, we've got the wherewithal to really curate that for you and to make sure the message flows, that it works. So it wouldn't feel like, a commercial break in an otherwise wonderful art house movie. It's a much more natural transition than that. But the other thing I'd say is that implicit in this conversation so far, but something that we haven't really said explicitly, and I think we need to, is that all art has got meaning and conveys values. And that's what we're doing when we're curating something, is if you tell us what your message is, and it might be that there's something that you want to achieve, but you don't necessarily know how you want to get there, well, we can help you with that as well through conversation and dialogue. We will find a playlist of work where the work itself is already talking about those values and already building towards that message. I'm sure you can all think of art that makes you feel like you're being included, or in a way, almost as though you're being embraced or supported. Right, well, if that's something that you wanted as part of a well-being initiative in your workplace, yeah, totally, we've got that. If you want to do something which is about energizing a team and giving them a bit more pizzazz, there's work we could find that would do that too. Because the world of art is massive. The other thing I'd say is that, and I had intended to do this, but I don't think I did it very well, it's not just painting or sculpture that we're talking about. We've got a huge amount of photography in the library. And in fact, we've got one of our star photographers on this call at the minute. I can see you, Gwilly. Hello. And we've got a huge amount of wonderful photography. And we've also got, illustration, surface pattern, fashion, posters, all sorts. Because, art is, in our sense of the word, an inclusive concept which covers the whole of human creativity. So, yeah, absolutely. If you wanted something which is art historical, easy. If you want something which is, Hoxton hip, yeah, challenge me. Bring it on. I'd love to do it. If you want something which is space ageian tomorrow, I'm sure we've got work that covers that too. I mean, it's all there. All human life is in our library, and we can employ that to put across your message.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ben. Really appreciate that. So, guys, if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to wrap up for today. As I mentioned earlier, there was a lot of ground covered today, a lot of new ground for most people. So I imagine that it's going to take a little bit of time to process some of this information. And as such, you might think of a question later on today, tomorrow, whatever, whenever. If you do need any further information, if you want to find out more, if you want to book a meeting, anything at all, obviously, please feel free to reach out to your normal contact at Vieunite or Allsea, or use the information on screen now to get in touch with us. And yeah, just kind of stay in touch and watch this space. We've got some more exciting announcements and assets available in the coming weeks and months. So yeah, I really appreciate everyone's attendance today. Thank you for giving up an hour of your time. And as I say, any questions at all you've got, feel free to reach out to us, and the most relevant person will come back to you with an answer. Brilliant. Thank you again, everyone. And yeah, thanks for everyone. Everyone's pretty much stayed on to the very end, which is quite rare. So thanks for that. Hopefully that means it was interesting enough for everybody.
Thank you so much, Bacon, for your time as well.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
Really
much.
appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Enjoy the rest of your day.